Okay, so let's talk today about the Memordica genus. This is something that I have talked about a little bit in the past. I've had, I think, two. I've had the gack fruit, which is big red spiky ball. People make juice out of it. Tastes like absolutely nothing. And another one looks very similar to the gack, only it's got like smooth skin, and taste fairly similar as well. Although they are commonly used in some parts of the world, not so common here. The most common of all of these Memordica genuses, I think, is this guy right here. This is the bitter melon, also known as the bitter gourd. There is also an Indian variety. So this is what you call a Chinese bitter gourd. This is the Indian bitter gourd. But they are actually the same exact genus and the same exact species. They are just different cultivars. This one, as you can see, is smooth on the outside, and this one has all these little bumpy bits. So there might be a difference in flavor as well. Okay, so first let me start with this one here, and I'm going to just cut this in half like so. I also should probably get rid of that little guy, and yeah. Here's the inside. You can see right there, and sorry if you've got trypophobia, but you can see the little seeds in there. Pretty nasty looking, like a disease. It's good. Now what you do with this is you take a spoon and you scoop out all of this gunk. Some dishes do call for the pith. They say to use it. And if you juice it, you can, I guess, use the pith as well. But it's like, I guess it's like a matter of preference. It's, if I see like a trend, it's more often that Indian recipes call for the insides to be used, and different like Chinese dishes and stuff like that will call for you to remove it. It looks quite similar in there, but looks about maybe around the same amount of seeds and everything. But this one has more pith. It's bigger, so that might just be why. There's probably a little bit more food in the Chinese variety. And it seems a little bit easier to actually get the pulp out of the Indian variety. So there is a bonus point goes towards the Indian variety. So I'm just cutting this rather thin. Some people think you might need to like cut off the outer bit. That's not true. You can keep that on. I am going to cut off the little points though. And just do the same thing. So here are the two slices back to back. If we're going to go by appearance, I'm going to give the gold star to the Indian one, just because it looks a little bit more badass with those spikes. But yeah, this is fine too if you're into that sort of thing. Okay, now the moment that I've been dreading, I'm going to try these raw. People eat these raw. You can eat it raw, but when people eat these raw, they are not eating it raw because they want to. They're doing it because it is supposed to be good for you. Cures diabetes and what have you. But don't want to do it. The most popular way to eat these raw is to make a juice out of it, but yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to try it as it is. It's funny that this is supposed to be good for you because it tastes like something that's going to kill you. It's very bitter, as you would imagine. It's very green tasting. It's like if you took like a green bean and you just like drained all the sweetness and all the things that you like about green beans out of it, and you just like made it super bitter. Next we're going to move on to the Indian one. It's different. The bitter flavor is a lot stronger. I'm sorry, India. I mean, that might be a good thing if you're going into this because you want bitterness, or if you're going into this because you're equating bitterness with health. They both taste like bitter poison, but this one tastes like a bitterer, more poisonous poison. If you're going to go into this raw, I would recommend starting with the Chinese one. Now, in order to get rid of some of that bitterness, what you do is you put salt in it. Salt is supposed to neutralize some of it and also sucks out some of the liquid. So if you want to retain all that liquid for some reason, you can do that as well. Some people like to drink the liquid that comes out, which I am not going to do. I'm going to do the same thing with the Indian one. I'm going to let these sit for about 15 minutes just to give the salt some time to get some of that liquid and some of the bitterness out of it. I'm going to take 1 clove of garlic just to make it, like, you know, somewhat edible. I don't want to put any additional spices in just because I want to focus on what the fruit tastes like. And I think the garlic is minor enough where it's okay to add like a little bit of something. And the garlic will also help get rid of some of the bitterness. Yeah, look at that. It's working. I could probably squeeze that stuff forever, but I managed to get quite a lot of juice out of it. That's not too bad. That's probably like, I don't know, half a cup. So let's move on to the Indian one and do the same thing. The rind seems to be like a little drier than the Chinese one, so I'm not sure if that is a good thing or a bad thing, so I'm not going to give one or the other the gold star. So like I said, usually people do a lot of things when they make this. Me, I'm going to keep it super simple. I'm just going to take a little splash of oil, and I'm going to take some of this garlic here. I'm going to put a little bit more garlic in with the Chinese one just because there is a little bit more fruit there. If you want to do this properly, the Indian way is to take just a ton of spices, usually onion, tomato, coriander, turmeric. Some people put coconut in it. There's like a whole lot of stuff that you can do with the Indian one. Typically in China they do it like sauteed with, or cooked with eggs. So you take eggs and scallions and maybe like a little bit of spicing, but like they make more of like an omelet out of it. I think the eggs would be good because it would work well with that bitterness a little bit. Most recipes don't cook this thing for very long. It's been about 4 minutes, and these, as you can see, already look pretty cooked. It smells pretty good. It smells a little bit like French fries. We're going to move on to the Indian bitter gourd. This took a little bit longer. It took maybe like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So I guess the Chinese one gets the gold star here, but it's comparable. It's not that much different. Looks pretty good. I'm going to start with the Chinese one. It's alright. You know, it's much less bitter when you cook it. You know, it still kind of reminds me a little bit of like a green bean. It's got that kind of green kind of flavor, but obviously a lot more bitter. This, cooking it and draining it and everything, makes it maybe like 75% less bitter. Still bitter, but not bad. A little bit of garlic in there is pretty nice, and the fact that it's fried is nice. It reminds me a little bit about like eating like a potato, but like bitter and not as pleasant. But if this were cooked with curry like people do, or eggs like people do, or made into like a pancake or something, that would be pretty good. I would eat it. Next, let's try the Indian one. I think this might actually be less bitter. Well, maybe it's because like I've already had something very bitter and I'm still feeling it or something, but it doesn't seem that bad. Try another piece of the Chinese one. I think I like burnt out the bitter taste buds on my tongue, because that doesn't taste bitter anymore either. That's actually a good thing. If you don't want this to be super bitter, I think like the initial bite might be kind of bitter, but then as you keep eating it, it's gonna kind of like wake up those taste buds, and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, this is cool. But yeah, the Indian one has like a little bit like an extra mellow flavor, like slightly like dry fruit or something. But they're very, very close. They're very close in flavor. The Chinese one is a little bit more beany. This one is maybe a little bit more fruity. But altogether, both good. I see really no major reason to pick one over the other. They are subtly different. I think I'm leaning a little bit towards the Indian one because I don't like green beans, and the Chinese one has a green bean flavor. But both of them are good, so I recommend checking them out. There's going to be a preview at the end of this video, so don't go anywhere. I just want to give a big shout out to all of the mega contributors over on Patreon. Dr. Tourgman, AltPod, and the channel Smarter Every Day. Patreon is how this channel happens, so if you want to find out more about how you can contribute and help this channel grow, do click on the link in the description below, or the one that's floating around me right now. I also have t-shirts for sale. This is the latest one, the Mandrake Root shirt, which is available on my website, also in the description below. This is not a huge channel. I'm trying to make it big. Leaving a comment, or liking, subscribing, sharing, anything you could do, guys, does help me out quite a lot. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.